Hello my people, welcome to another tutorial. My name is Agnes. In today's tutorial I'll show you how I crocheted this Bolero shrug. I've never done one before, but it's never been my thing and I thought I should try it, and I think I like how it turned out. This is the granny stitch. I love the colors. It was easy to make, so I'll give you different ways how you can adjust this to your size, tell you what measurements you need to take. If you like a written pattern, I might drop one on my Etsy shop. You can check the description box for links. So let's get into it. For the tutorial, I'm going to be using this yarn. It's Kira. It's from Volido. It's 50 grams, 125 meters. 100% cotton. It recommends a 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter hook. It's a size 2 yarn. I'm going to be using this 3 millimeter hook size and these colors. You're going to need a tape measure, yarning needle, scissors, and some stitch markers. So with our shrug, we're going to start down here. Make a very long chain that comes from one palm of our hand to the other palm of the hand, single crochet row, and then we do this granny stitch. Once we get here, we leave some chains, and then we do one row that is for the neckline, and then we add the stitches that we took off before, and then just continue to do from one end to the other. And once we are done, we do this shell stitch, do a single crochet row around here, and that's going to make an attempt in drawing a human body. And just to show you the measurements that we need, these are the arms. I'm so bad at this. I don't know. Okay, whatever. I'm going to update the measurements as we go. Whatever we need, I will keep telling you what you need to measure. So first we need the foundation chain. Foundation chain is from your palms all across your body. So you can make the foundation chain from A to B. You need that across like this. Okay, so this is our first one. I'm doing a size extra small. So you are going to make a foundation chain. And you are going to make chains, which are multiples of 3 plus 1. So it's 3 times 3, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, until you have the measurements. Then you add one chain. So I did my chains multiples of 3, and they are 54 inches long. I folded it into 2 because it cannot fit on the table, but as you can see, this half is 27, so the other half is also 27, which is equal to 54. And now we are going to go to row 1. Before we go to row 1, we are going to add one chain, which is going to be our turning chain. So add one chain to the many chains that you have, and then we're going to turn our work, and we're going to skip that first turning chain, and we're going to be working in these loops at the back. This third loop is where we are working. Normally we would work in here, yeah, but I want us to work in these small loops at the back. So I'm going to go into that first loop at the back with a single crochet, and I am going to work one single crochet in every loop at the back. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So make a single crochet in every stitch until you get to the end of your foundation chain. All right, I will see you at the end. So I worked my single crochets all the way to the end, but in this last single crochet I did not yarn over and pull through 2 loops. I just, you know, go in like this and make it incomplete. We want to change color, but of course if you're not going to change color, then just finish it off and start on row 2. But since I'm changing color, I think I'm going to go with this blue. So I'll just leave a tail there and then pull this through like this and chain 3, 2, 3. All right, so I will flip off this red yarn and tie these two, tie a knot like that. All right, and then now we're going to move on to row 2. So I already chained 2. You're going to yarn over and we're going to turn our work and we're going to start working on our granny stitch. So chain 2, yarn over, turn your work, and in this very first stitch right here we are going to make a double crochet. Okay, and then we are going to yarn over and you're going to skip 1, 2, and into the third stitch you're going to make 3 double crochets. That's 1, yarn over again, into the same stitch, go in with your second double crochet, yarn over again, into the same stitch, make your third double crochet, and then you're going to yarn over, then you skip 1, 2, into the third one you make 3 double crochets. So that is 1 double crochet. You're going to go in with your second double crochet and then your third double crochet, and you're going to do this until you get to the end of the row. So skip 2, 3 double crochets in the third stitch. Okay, so skip 2, in the third stitch make 3 double crochets in the same stitch. All right, so do this until you get to the end of the row and I'll meet you there. So I went all the way to the end. I have 3 stitches left, but if you have 2 stitches left, that's okay too. It shouldn't, if you counted poorly, it shouldn't affect the result of your work. So what you're going to do, you're going to skip 2, and into the last stitch you're going to work 2 double crochets, and not 3, just 2. So if you have less stitches left, just skip 1 and go into the last one and work 2 double crochets. Okay, so I want to change color, so instead of finishing this I will leave it at 2 loops. I'm going to cut this and then put my next color. Leave a tail, and I'm going to pull through with my new color like that and tie this up. I tie 2 knots just to secure it like that. Oopsie, it pulled my double crochets here. I will redo this last one. All right, so start on the new one, you chain 3, turn your work, and you're going to yarn over, and we're going to go straight into this part, these spaces here between the clusters. That's where we're going to work our 3 double crochets. So you yarn over and go into this first space here and make 3 double crochets. Okay, and then yarn over, skip to the next space, 3 double crochets. and from here on it's just 3 double crochets in every space in between the clusters, like this. So how we start row 2 and how we start row 3 is different, and how we end them is also different. So it will be a repeat of row 1 and row 2. I mean row 2 and row 3, row 2 and row 3. So you need to understand how we started this and how we started this to tell the difference. So I'll see you at the end, show you how we finish that off. So now coming to the end, we have this space left. So I'm going to work in that space, 3 double crochets. Okay, so how we're going to end this off is you're going to yarn over, and on top of this chain stitch here, right here, we are going to make a double crochet to close this off like that. So that's how you end round 3. And with round 4, row 4, I'm going to change color. So cut that off. Row 4 is going to be the same as row 2. So I'm going to reattach my yarn and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then tie this off. So yarn over, turn our work, and row 4 is going to be the same. It's a repeat of row 2. So you start with a double crochet as the first stitch in this first stitch here. That's a double crochet in that very first stitch, and now you work the clusters. So in the chain, in the space between the previous clusters, you just work a new cluster. So 3 double crochets in that first space, and then you go to the next space, make 3 double crochets, next space, 3 double crochets, like that, and you're just going to continue. So every row is going to be a repeat of 2 rows. So row 2 same as row 4, row 3 will be same as row 5, like that. So you're alternating these 2 rows. How you start and how you end is different for the 2 rows. Okay, so we continue that, and I'll meet you when I need to make the neckline part. All right, our next measurement is going to be, we need to know the height of our bolero. So you're going to measure the circumference around your arm, yeah, and divide that by 2. So mine is 10 divided by 2, which makes it 5 inches. So that my first part before I put the neckline is 5 inches. So measure around the biggest part of your arm and divide that number by 2, and that's how many inches or whatever that you will make. Okay, so the next one we need to know how much we need to leave for the neckline. So mine, I wanted a little bit almost to the tip of the shoulder, but you can do less. So just decide, you measure around your shoulders or the front part of your up here, and see how many inches you need to leave for your neckline. So I did a couple of rows and I got my 5 inches, which is half of my arm circumference. And now we need to create the neckline here. So for the neckline, I want to leave about 11 inches. You can leave about 10, you can leave 9, you can leave 12, depending on how you want that. So now I need to count how many clusters are in 11 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, about 16 clusters in 11 inches. So this is what I need to leave in the middle. So I'm going to count all my clusters and make sure on my right and on my left I have the same number of clusters, leaving 16 in the middle. So after counting my stitches on the left and on the right, I was left with 17 clusters and not 16. So this went up to about 12 inches. So I wasn't sure if I should make it smaller or bigger, but I went with the biggest part. So you can go lower or whatever you prefer. So I did 12 inches, and those are 17 clusters in between my stitch markers. So on the right, I have the same number of clusters as on the left. So make sure this number of clusters from the palm to the other stitch marker are the same on both sides, and whatever is remaining in the middle, then you work with that. So I'm going to change color, and I'm going to start here. So I am going to work a row of granny stitch until I get to where my first stitch marker is, and this row will just be like the neckline row. We will not count it, so it will be like the middle row between the front and the back. So continue working the same pattern until you get where your first stitch marker is, where you want to put your neckline, and then I'll meet you there so that we can do the chains, because we need to add those chains there to replace the clusters that we had. All right, so do that, and I'll meet you at your first stitch marker. So I'm getting to my first stitch marker, and I'm going to work a cluster in between that space there. And then once you're done with that cluster, you're going to count how many spaces you have between the two stitch markers, which means there are 17 clusters, which means I have 16 clusters, then times 3, because each cluster takes 3 chains, right? So it's 16 clusters times 3. You count the spaces, not the number of clusters, or you can count the number of clusters and take away 1 cluster, and then that number times 3. Okay, so mine is going to be 16 times 3. That number is how many chains I'm going to make all the way, and then I'll come show you how we connect it. So I have my 48 chains, and once you have that, then you're going to yarn over and you're going to make a cluster in that space that you have your stitch marker. So yarn over, go into this space with a stitch marker and make a cluster. So that's 3 double crochets in that space. And you're just going to continue making a cluster in every space until you get to the end of the row. And then once you get to the end of the row, start with another color and work until you're back here where we have the chain, and then I'll meet you here so that we can work over the chain together. So I went all the way with the yellow, then changed color with the blue, and I'm back here where we have the chain. So what we're going to do is you're going to yarn over, skip 2 stitches, and in the 3rd stitch, on top of that last double crochet, you're going to make your first cluster there. So make 3 double crochets. And then you're going to skip 2 chains, and into the 3rd chain make a cluster. Skip 2 chains, in the 3rd one make a cluster, just like, same pattern. Skip 2 chains, make a cluster in the 3rd chain, and I will meet you at the end of the chain. So I worked all the way across, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and the last one of course will be here at the end. So let's do that and then just continue. So this is going to be my last cluster. Just skip 2 and then a double crochet on top of that, and another double crochet, and the third double crochet. So now I have back my 17 clusters, though I chained only 48 stitches. Okay, so now you're just going to go into the space and you're going to work your double crochets and clusters like before. Change colors whichever way you want, or work one color, I don't know, until you have the same number of rows as you had on the first part before you made the neckline. So same number of rows, and then I will meet you so that we can do what's next. Okay, just continue, count your number of rows. That should be the same number of rows, and then we'll come and do the single crochet row at last. So I'm done with the same number of rows here, as same as here, except this single crochet row. So I now want to do that single crochet row, and I think it starts here. So I'll go ahead and change color. So since there's a single crochet row, I will just chain one like that, and then turn the work, and I'm going to work one single crochet in every stitch like that. Single crochet all my way across, and once I get to the other side I cut it off and then sew in these ends. All right, so once we have the ends sewed in, then we'll come and join the sleeves. All right, so I sewed in all my loose ends, and once I was done with that, I want to leave 15 inches here. This is around my above my bust, and I measured that just under my arms. I put my tape measure all around, and it was about 30 inches, so which means from side to side it's half of that, and that's why I put stitch markers 15. Of course I counted all these clusters and made sure I'm leaving the same number of clusters on the left as it is on the right. So whatever 15 inches I had left is what I left in between here, and now we're just going to join from one side to where the stitch marker is, as well as the other side. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to do that, but the most important part is here. So measure around your under your arm, all around, you know, the front and the back, the circumference, and then decide half of that measurement is what you leave. So yeah. I'm going to be starting here until I get to the stitch marker, so I will use red because this is what I have at the bottom, and I'm going to be working only in these loops, the inside loops. See these loops? I'm only working only in the inside loops, so I'll just reattach my yarn in these both loops so that it's secure like this. And then I am going to slip stitch across, and I'm only slip stitching in the inside loop. So this loop here and this loop here, then I make a slip stitch. This loop here, this loop inside. You can join this with whatever method you like, whatever feels comfortable for you. As long as it is joined, it doesn't really matter how you did it. So I'm going to slip stitch all across until I get to where I have my stitch marker, and then I'll chain one, cut off the yarn, and then do the other side too, and I'll meet you once you have both sides done. All right, this is how it's looking. So this, I went sewed both sides, this side and this side together, and now I did not cut off the yarn when I did the other side, so I want to make a shell all around the bottom. So for this part we are going to chain 2, chain 2, and then I am going to skip 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then in the 4th stitch I'll make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then I'll chain 1, and in that very same stitch I'll make another 3 double crochets like that. What's happening here? And then I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3 into the 4th. I'll make a single crochet and then yarn over, then skip 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 into the 4th, make 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets in the same stitch, like that. All right, then skip 1, 2, 3 into the 4th, single crochet, skip 1, 2, 3 into the 4th, another shell, so 3, chain 1, 3. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3 to the 4th, single crochet, and I'm going to do this all across the bottom, so like this, all the way here and back here, and I will meet you once I'm back right here. So I went all the way around and I came back here, but in the end I don't have enough stitches to make another shell here, so I'll just single crochet in the remaining stitches. This, and this is back where I started, so I'll put a stitch in here to back where I started. On top of that chain 2 that I started with, I'll just make a slip stitch, chain 1, cut off my yarn, and I pull through. So we have these little shells down here. I feel like I want to put them also here around the neckline, because I tried it on and I think I left too much space, but I'm not sure. So I'll just work single crochet row instead of the shells, so let them stay at the bottom, and here I'll just work a single crochet row. I think with this red, 1 single crochet in every stitch, so this is clear. So I'll start with this other part with the chains, so that I show you how to do that. Let's say start here, reattach your yarn, you can reattach anywhere, chain 1, and I'm going to go in this stitch here with a single crochet and this space where I have, how many chains were we leaving in between? 2, right? Yeah, I think we're leaving 2, so I'll put only 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then third one there. So 1, 2, and then 3. 1, 2, 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space, and then like that. So it's 1 single crochet in every stitch. So I'll go around, and once I come back here, just put a slip stitch on top of this first one, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it, and if you do recreate it, please tag me on social media. It's AC Crochets on all platforms. You can find my written patterns on Etsy or yancy.com, and I'm going to leave the links in the description box. You can check that out. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.